So, hello everyone, we are the group 4, and we were going to discuss one structure of grammatical competence, which is interrogative. So, first, let us define what is interrogatives. So, interrogatives is ask a question. So, interrogative sentences are usually distinguished from other type of sentences with an inverted structure. In other words, the predicate or verb often comes before the subject. So we have the interrogative pronoun. Number one is who. So it refers to a person who is the subject of the question. We also have whom, refers to a person who is the object of the question. Also, we have what. It refers to a thing. And which, it refers to a person or a thing. And whose, it refers to ownership of a thing by a person.
So now let's have here the interrogative adverbs, which it is an adverb that asks a question about place, time, and manner or reason. So here we have why, which means or which refers to the reason for an action or occurrence. Where, which means or it refers to the location of something, and how refers to the way in which an action is done or by what means it can be accomplished. And lastly, when, which refers to the time that an action or event takes place. So we have other question words here, the auxiliary verbs, modal verbs, or to be verbs.
And now let's move on to the syntactic environment of the interrogatives. Next slide. So first, interrogatives, we can find it in the beginning or in initial. So just like the structure in here, interrogatives equals to WH question followed by the auxiliary verb, followed by the subject and the verb. For example, where do you live? Where do you live? So where is the WH question and do is the auxiliary verb and you is the subject and live is verb. The second example is when does the movie start? When is the WH question, does is the auxiliary verb and the movie is the subject and the verb is start.
Next is for the interrogative syntactic environment of the initials. We have the auxiliary auxiliary verb where it was put in a bracket where specify, that means specify, and then the next is the subject and the adjective. For the first example, we have the are you busy? Are is the auxiliary verb and you is the subject and the busy is the adjective. And then the next is the interrogative equals to modal verbs. It was put in a bracket also, and that is for para but specify. And then the next is the subject, and then the auxiliary, which have underlined, is the feelers, and lastly is the predicate. Here is the example. We have should we take a taxi? Should is the modal verb and the subject is we, and is take a taxi is a predicate, which is action that was done by a person. Thank you.
I will present an example of interrogative syntactic environment on penultimate. I should, the example is, I should get going, shouldn't I? It is a tag question constructed by a declarative clause followed by a mini question. It is very common in English discourses with different uses. The interrogative word here is shouldn't, is located before I, therefore considering it in penultimate. That's all.